Coming up on this special edition of Ag Day, we honor Christmas with all its tasty traditions.
About 99% of all hazelnuts that are grown in the U.S. are from Oregon.
And trimmings.
There's a lot of artistry and a lot of craftsmanship that goes into it that people don't realize.
Made by hard-working hands.
Well, for me, it's about the precision. It's about making sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, that it's right.
All wrapped up with a beautiful bow.
These are 12-foot ceilings, and it's completely covered, floor to ceiling, paneled in these carved arches and colonnades.
As we celebrate Christmas in the country. Good morning and Merry Christmas. I'm Clinton Griffiths.
And I'm Betsy Gibbon with this special edition of Ag Day, bringing you once again stories of Christmas in the country.
And while we acknowledge there are many challenges out in farm country, there's also much to celebrate, which is why we hope you can sit back, relax, and enjoy our gift to you. A collection of stories from the heartland that honor the Christmas spirit. We're coming to you from beautiful Tippecanoe Place, a mansion once belonging to the Studebaker family here in South Bend, Indiana. It now welcomes guests for a fine dining experience. This place decorated throughout for the holidays.
As is a mansion in northern Missouri that turns magical during the holidays. Its ambiance is so striking, it was even featured in a Christmas movie. Andrew McCrae takes us to the Shakespeare Chateau.
Visitors have long been amazed as they enter this home. Isabel McGowan loves showing people her impressive residence, a place that dates to 1885.
So people come through those big carved front doors and they see this magnificent interior. These are 12-foot ceilings, and it's completely covered, floor to ceiling, paneled in these carved arches and colonnades, carved pillars, and even the big dragons carved on the staircase there.
The bust of Shakespeare, carved in the cherry wood of the entry, is what gave rise to the home's name today, the Shakespeare Chateau. This place was part of what was called Millionaire's Row, here along Hall Street in St. Joseph, Missouri. A walk into the front parlor reveals carved mahogany and Zuber wallpaper from a French company that dates to the time of Napoleon. You can still buy the paper today for the price of a small home.
You could order this up for your house. Get out your checkbook. $61,000 is the price tag for this wallpaper, this room set that you see here.
This home can make another boast that none other can.
With 47 original stained glass windows here at the Shakespeare Chateau, that's more than any other Gilded Age mansion anywhere in North America.
Over time, though, this mansion and others on Hall Street fell into disrepair, but Isabel helped bring the 9,000 square foot home back to life. She now hosts events and has a bed and breakfast. And interestingly, you can now see this house in another way. It's the backdrop for a new movie.
Christmas at the Chateau.
You need me here. I'm not leaving.
To quote Shakespeare, nothing will come of nothing.
And they developed a little storyline about the sisters who are running it as a bed and breakfast, and they're running into financial difficulties and enter the handsome young banker, and you know the story.
Not only was Isabel's home in the movie, she was as well. Although she had a role she hopes she doesn't see in real life here at her bed and breakfast, the role of a difficult guest.
Thank you so much. Here you are, because you're so cute.
Wow, a whole quarter.
Yes, it is. Don't spend it all in one place.
Don't worry, I won't.
The movie crew had to work around the events and guests staying here at this working home. And since it was a Christmas movie, there was some extra work to do.
They decorated for Christmas at least a dozen times here that year. Every time they'd come for another shoot, they'd have to bring in all the Christmas decor again and set it all up.
You can see Christmas at the Chateau on streaming services and network cable. And you can see it in person on a visit to the old Millionaire's Row here in St. Joseph.
Thanks, Andrew. Still to come, creating beauty out of something we might otherwise throw away.
A veteran whose hobby is helping to heal in so many ways. His story next as we celebrate Christmas in the country.
Ag Day, presented by the Chevy Silverado and the all-new Silverado HD, the strongest, most advanced family of Silverados ever.
One man has been very busy this holiday season, cranking out gifts for people all over the country. No, he's not Santa Claus. He's a disabled veteran, and he can take things that you can't imagine or might even throw away and turn it into something beautiful. And he does it all from inside his garage in Indiana. Santa's workshop isn't the only space turning out gifts this holiday season.
These two here, this is an 82nd Airborne Division patch. And this is a pair of what they call, it's a senior aviation badge.
The talented Tom Hollis
Baby turtles, baby ducks, baby elephants.
is willing to make just about anything.
So I've got a horseshoe with the rodeo rider in the middle of it. I've always been good with my hands.
From the first pencil-drawn outline
Well, for me, it's about the precision. It's about making sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, that it's right.
to the spinning bite of the router.
It's actually a Christmas gift for my daughter's boyfriend.
Each detail trimmed and sculpted to perfection.
The raised parts here are going to be black, and then the background is a teal green. Ugh. But hey, it's not for me, so.
Sweating the finer point of each project, the perfect distraction.
I get lost. You know, it completely takes me out of my head, which is one of the best things that can happen.
It's the loss this veteran of Desert Storm, Desert Shield
I had always wanted to be in the military since I was a kid. And not just the military, I wanted to be in infantry.
is now trying to forget.
I try to picture losing the ability to do everything that you love to do, all at one time.
A broken back and years of neglect today has Hollis on light duty.
I can guarantee you, and I hate to say this, but I can guarantee you if it wasn't for my wife, I would not be here. I guarantee it.
Love and a push
When I do it, I kind of feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, you know?
to share his work with others.
You know, that look of happiness, you know, or satisfaction or whatever. That's everything to me.
Is helping him reconnect with other veterans.
I had a lady contact me from Canada. Her grandfather was in the Canadian forces in World War II. And she wanted me to do enlargements of their hat pin, which is, I guess, their unit identifier, and then their cross guidons. Total of 3 weeks, probably a good 85 hours of work time on those. And they took a picture of them holding the two plaques. And I got the picture, and then about 4 months later, I saw a post from his daughter, the one that had contacted me, that he had just passed away. So, you know, it broke my heart, but at the same time, I felt good because I was able to give him something special before he did pass away. For me, you know, like I said before, it's all about the detail work.
With each pass,
You know, the angles on the star, you know, especially with a military badge for me, it's got a lot of importance, so it's got to be as close to exact as possible.
Hollis is giving what he can.
These are a Christmas gift for a gentleman in Ohio, I think it is.
Amid the sawdust and the memories, etching his heart into every stroke.
I like to think of that as my special touch, you know, and especially doing it by hand. People say, why don't you get a CNC machine? It's no fun. Program a computer, push a button, you go sit down. Where's the fun in that? You know.
As he races to share his gifts in time for Christmas.
But I think we'll make it. I think we'll make it.
Still ahead, you can't sing Frosty the Snowman without including this in the lyrics. There's coal, a button nose, and a corncob pipe. And those corncob pipes are no fairy tale. Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan shows us where they're made next during Christmas in the country.
It's an iconic Christmas song that captures children's attention. The story of Frosty the Snowman with the corncob pipe and the button nose. And while Frosty may be make-believe, the corncob pipe is no fairy tale. As Tyne Morgan shows us, it's been full of life for 150 years.
A story that first came to life in 1969. And one that hasn't lost its luster, even when it comes to the iconic corncob pipe.
Missouri Meerschaum Company is a corncob pipe company and that has been in business continuously for 150 years.
Nestled along the Missouri River in quaint Washington, Missouri, this brick building has seen 150 years of change.
We were the first corncob pipe company, first company to commercially make corncob pipes, and for all intents and purposes, we're the last.
The last corncob pipe company in the U.S. staying strong to its roots.
All the pipes that we make are from corn cobs that we grow.
Phil Morgan says the secret sauce for the sesquicentennial pipe, the cob.
We have our own hybrid. We're the only ones that have it.
A rare type of corn baked into one heritage hybrid.
That our corn, the hybrid we have, is made up of 4 old open pollinated varieties of corn from way back, the early 1900s.
Creating the desirable cob's perfect pith for making corncob pipes.
But the next part of the cob is called the woody ring. And if you let that dry long enough, in our case about 2 years, that literally becomes as hard as wood, and that's why you can make a pipe out of it.
And from there, the magic begins.
We have about 30 different styles or varieties of corncob pipes that we make, all from little miniature pipes all the way up to the big MacArthur pipe.
An art that is all done by hand.
There's a lot of artistry and a lot of craftsmanship that goes into it that people don't realize.
The attention to detail and the artistry that stayed the same for 150 years.
You can see the craftsmanship and the variety that went into the pipes even back then.
Missouri Meerschaum Company still uses one machine 120 years old, keeping the nostalgia and the magic alive.
It's about as much of a American heritage product as you can find anywhere. And that's what I'm proud of, just that we're keeping it going.
It's that momentum Morgan thinks won't change.
The peak demand would have been in the 1930s to the 1950s in that time frame.
But thanks to older millennials, the hobby of smoking a pipe is making a comeback.
I think what's driving that is just the social aspect of it.
The iconic pipe made a memorable impression thanks to famous fictional stories.
When you think about a corncob pipe, you would have either thought of Popeye, possibly, Frosty the Snowman, Santa Claus in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, smoking a pipe, and of course we believe that was a corncob pipe.
But the tradition of smoking a pipe wasn't always fiction.
The person that most people would identify with is Douglas MacArthur from World War II, the big, the really tall, big pipe that he took pictures with. We made his pipes for him right here.
The MacArthur pipe is still made today.
We actually never stopped manufacturing this one, and he kind of designed it. He took an older pipe called the Grandpa that we had made from the 1880s, and the bowl was too deep for him, so he had us move the shank up so the bowl wasn't quite as deep.
From Norman Rockwell to Thomas Hart Benton, the corncob pipe made in Missouri was a popular choice and one that still stirs up sentiments from the past.
It's the perfect gift for somebody who wants to relax and contemplate life.
And it's the iconic corncob pipe story and the revival of nostalgia, keeping the tradition alive today.
But he waved goodbye, saying, "Don't you cry."
I'll be back on Christmas Day.
If you bake at Christmas, you probably add this into the bowl without even thinking about it. Coming up, the important role of hazelnuts, where they're grown, and how they make it into those Christmas cookies.
Closed captioning is brought to you by BASF. Grow smart with BASF. We create chemistry.
It's an ingredient in a lot of those Christmas goodies and snacks we eat. We're talking about hazelnuts, and it's really taken off over the last couple of years due to the popularity of hazelnut spread. I traveled to Oregon, where the hazelnut is the official state nut. It's that wonderful time of the season where a sweet treat or two is so often on the menu. It could be chocolatey goodness, fruits, or nuts.
A lot of them are using it as an ingredient and flavoring agent.
These are hazelnuts, and there's a good possibility if you're enjoying hazelnuts this season, they came through this processing and packing company in Woodburn, Oregon.
About 99% of all hazelnuts that are grown in the U.S. are from Oregon.
Employees here work in lines to sort and look for cosmetic damage, even though they have already had their say by lasers.
5 sorters working in concert to sort out every small detail defect that we could find.
The hazelnut industry has come a long way. Gone are the days hazelnuts were found on your grandma's table.
We were on that table at one point, and we still are, but not as much as like the pecan and almond are at this point. But we are working to change that back.
It almost lost its entire market decades ago.
And almost fall off as far as production back in the 90s.
Before growing the last 2 decades and selling to companies like Nutella.
Was traditionally about 300 farmers, and we're quickly becoming 600 to 1,000 farmers.
Yet the industry knows Christmas is not the most important holiday for hazelnuts.
Realistically, most of these go over to China. It's a big push, to get all these Oregon hazelnuts over to China for the new year.
Outside markets also drive prices.
The market on hazelnuts is totally dependent on how Turkey does. Turkey is the largest grower in the world.
As the holiday products roll out.
What people don't know is that hazelnuts are the secret ingredient to every delicious chocolate in Europe.
A role the hazelnut industry is happy to fulfill. One handful, one bite, from an industry savoring a renewed place on the holiday table.
AgDay, brought to you by Precision Planting, provider of practical and effective precision ag technologies to help make farmers smarter every season. Learn more at precisionplanting.com.
As a father of 3, I'm always interested to see what my little ones ask for Christmas. This is a picture of my son proudly holding his letter to Santa a few years back. The list, always so complete, well thought out and purposely written. Among those Crayola characters, we've read requests for video games, a drone, basketballs, and my daughter has relentlessly asked for a horse. She even painted her letter to Santa this year. Can you tell what she wants? And I'm sure one day soon I'll give in. I remember doing something similar as a kid myself. My parents did that too. What I don't remember is when I stopped making that list. In fact, the last decade or so, my wife and I hardly even discuss what we want for Christmas. As parents, it's just more fun to buy for the little ones. Maybe the problem is threefold. Everything we want or need, we can just go take care of when we have the time or the money. 2, those wants tend to be a little pricier than the 2-wheel hoverboard my 6-year-old's requesting this season. Where he'll actually ride it on our dirt road is another story. Or 3, sometimes the things we want can't really be bought. So unless you're a talk show host, doling out big ticket giveaways, getting what you really want as an adult may be why making a list seems trivial. Now, if I were going to be making a Christmas list this season, it might look something like this. A profitable price for every commodity, 2 signed trade agreements, repaired levees and infrastructure from spring flooding, less stress, more laughter, respect for each other's opinions, no hunger, safe warm beds for everyone, a chance to always say goodbye, pumpkin pie or blackberry cobbler, I'm not picky, kindness on social media, at least one true friend for all, a moment of pure joy this year, and feelings of love, and of course, a barn to put that horse in I'm sure I'll be getting for my daughter in the not too distant future. Getting one or anything on that list, except the pumpkin pie, might be a pretty tall order this Christmas season. You know, I asked for a 4-wheeler every single year and never got it. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to ask. So take a couple of minutes over coffee and write down what you'd really like for Christmas this holiday season. You never know who's watching or who's listening. And wouldn't that be a season to remember? Well, that's going to wrap us up for this edition of Christmas in the Country. I'm Clinton Griffiths.
And I'm Betsy Gibbon.
Thanks for watching.
And Merry Christmas.